In life, you should know some simple things, like how to loosen your ties if you're ever taken hostage, or how your car's headrest could save your life if you're in a sinking car. But the world is full of wonders you don't need to know, but deep down, you really want to. Here are some of the very useless facts you can now brag about knowing. Ever wondered why your cat hears when you crack her food box open? Simple, because cat ears have 32 muscles, whilst human ears only have 6. So cats can pivot their ears independently to locate the origin of a noise, and hence hear it much more clearly than we can. Have you ever seen an elephant jump? Me neither. And that's because they can't due to their weak leg muscles, huge size, and fairly inflexible ankles. Elephants are actually the only mammals that can't jump, but it makes total sense from an evolutionary standpoint. Jumpy animals like kangaroos, monkeys, and frogs do it primarily to get away from predators. Elephants can keep themselves safe in other ways, relying on their huge size and protective social groups, so jumping is pretty useless to them. Hundreds of years ago in Turkey, a wife could have legally asked for a divorce if her husband didn't provide her with the essential drink, coffee. What makes this excuse particularly unusual is that in the male-dominant world of Arabia, it's rare for women to instigate a divorce, but coffee seemed to be the perfect excuse because it was regarded as an absolute necessity and integral part of daily life. Getting sand in your eyes sucks, but camels don't have that issue because they actually have 3 lids, 2 of them with long eyelashes, helping them to blow the sand out of their eyes. Due to the rough conditions in the desert, the long lids are the way that camels adapted to survive. Did you know that every May the 17th, we celebrate the National Cherry Cobbler Day? Most people enjoy it nowadays with some ice cream, but a long time ago it was illegal in Kansas to have ice cream with your pie. Luckily for us, the law is not enforced today anymore. How many necktie knots are possible? In 1999, some mathematicians discovered 85 ways to tie a necktie. Then in 2014, scientists from Sweden used math to tell us that there are 177,147 ways to tie a necktie. The most popular knot is the Windsor knot, but the combinations multiply based on the folding, the length, or the windings. Pick the right answer. Is the avocado a vegetable, a fruit, or a berry? The definition of a berry is a fleshy fruit produced from a single ovary. Following this, watermelons, bananas, and yes, avocados are technically berries. Strawberries, on the other hand, develop from the little seeds you can see on the fruit, which act like tiny ovaries, so they are not berries, they are a fruit. Did you know that if cranberries are really ripe, they bounce? If you cut them, you can see that each cranberry has 4 hollow air chambers, which makes them bounce and also float. That's also why some people also call them bounce berries. Graphic design wasn't always as challenging as it is today. For example, one of the most popular games from childhood, Super Mario Bros., employed an interesting tactic in order to save memory. It used the same design for the bushes and clouds in the background of most levels. The only thing that changed is their color. Similarly, the poop emoji is actually just the top part of the ice cream cone emoji, which is colored brown. While some have therefore assumed the emoji is just chocolate ice cream, according to Emojipedia, it is just a pile of poop that is shaped like soft serve ice cream, which is brown in color. Rubber bands last longer when kept in the freezer. The natural state of the bonds in rubber is relaxed and unstructured. The polymers in the rubber release thermal energy when stretched, thus breaking bonds and shortening its life. When put in the fridge, rubber band polymers get even more relaxed because of the way they behave in the cold. Therefore, an unordered rubber band in the fridge will last longer. Just don't immediately stretch a rubber band straight out of the fridge, as it will weaken it significantly because of the rapid change and contrast in its state. A golf ball usually has around 336 dimples on it. The number depends on the manufacturer or the model, but it's never random because only certain numbers are okay in order to cover the ball symmetrically. The symmetry is what keeps the ball from wobbling whilst in flight. Did you know some snails hibernate? They go to sleep when it gets too cold during the winter in order to survive. Snails bury themselves in the ground, and they close the shell with their own slime. They can survive like this for up to 3 years. There are a lot of differences between crocodiles and alligators, from the shape of their head to the position of their teeth. One interesting difference is that crocodiles can't stick their tongue out at you, but alligators can. The crocodile's tongue is stuck to the roof of their mouth with a membrane. It comes in handy when they snap prey. Ever wondered what part of the body would hurt most when stung? Thank entomologist Michael Smith. He conducted experiments on his own body to figure out which area hurt most when stung by bees. The nostril, the upper lip, and penis shaft were the 3 most painful. You heard that right. He took one for the team and allowed them to sting his manhood. What a hero. The skull, middle toe tip, and upper arm were the 3 least painful. The most expensive cow ever sold was Missy, a Holstein cow, for $1.3 million. When selling a cow for such a high price, its pedigree, high index, and a high butterfat content are just some of the aspects the buyers will look at. It might seem ridiculous, but you could imagine how profitable such an animal would be, given that they can use it to selectively breed more offspring. The longest word to use all 5 vowels in their order without repeating any of them is abstentious, which means one who doesn't indulge in excesses, mostly of food or drinks. Abstentious is the longest with 11 letters, followed by facetious with 9, meaning treating serious issues with inappropriate humor. Kangaroos can't jump backwards. The main reason for this is their long, muscular, inflexible tail, which acts like a third leg support. Also, their hind legs are larger than their forelimbs, forcing them to only move forward and slightly to the side, if ever in a fight. Here's another kangaroo fact. They don't jump, they salt. They cannot move just one leg at a time, so kangaroos need to jump on both of them at the same time in order to get around. The movement is called saltation. It is considered one of the fastest species in the world thanks to this unique movement. In 2016, Cards Against Humanity pulled another Black Friday prank. They dug a massive hole in Oregon, Illinois, and every time someone donated $5, the company extended the digging time. After they dug for 52 hours, they stopped at $100,573. The hole was covered by next day, and that was the end of it. A group of crows is called a murder of crows. The name could come from a folktale that crows get together and decide the fate of another crow. Actually, crows are social and caring, and considered one of the smartest creatures on Earth, just ahead of Homer Simpson. A lot of white cats have impaired hearing, meaning they're deaf. The reason for this is because of their genetics, but it's rather complicated. Basically, melanin, which affects the color of their coat, also affects the cochlea structure in their inner ear. If a certain masking gene prevents melanin from developing, it can cause the cochlea to degenerate shortly after birth, making the cat permanently deaf. This masking gene is also sometimes responsible for blue eyes in white cats. So if your cat has even one blue eye, it is likely to be deaf in the ear next to that blue eye. The smallest guitar in the world is about the size of a human blood cell. Cornell University created the tiny guitar out of crystalline silicone, and it measures around 10 micrometers. The technology behind it, E-beam, can be used to create very delicate patterns, and it's already used in fiber optics, sensors, and electronics. A lightning bolt can toast 100,000 slices of bread. This study is only hypothetical because the power in a lightning bolt cannot be harnessed due to its intensity. It would also be difficult to predict where the lightning is going to strike at any given time, and technology is not yet ready to store such high-intensity power. A lipogram is a written work where one or more letters are omitted. Ernest Wright wrote his novel, Gadsby, made up of 50,000 words without using the letter E, which made it impossible for him to use the words the, she, or verbs ending in ed. Kit Kat flavors are not as simple as one would think. Aside from green tea, creme brulee, or sake, Japan Nestle has introduced a cough drop flavored Kit Kat. The ingredients are layered with white chocolate, and it has a fresh and invigorating flavor. The golden arches of McDonald's are an icon for the brand, but the one in Sedona, Arizona is different. The only McDonald's in the world with turquoise arches. The city planners refused to accept the yellow sign, as it would ruin the view of the desert. Socks and sandals worn together are usually frowned upon, but the oldest socks in the world seem to have been made in Egypt around 300 and 499 AD. The socks have the big toe divided, which makes us believe they were meant to be worn with sandals. The technique used is closer to sewing than knitting, and hasn't been used since the 19th century. Ever dreamt of fishing from horseback? Well, you're out of luck in Utah, as the law forbids you to fish from the back of a horse. Its explanation might lay in another law that bans you from discharging any pollutant, like horse manure, in the water. Flamingos can only eat with their head upside down. Unlike most birds, flamingos' upper beaks can move freely, so they turn their head upside down and dunk it in the water. Flamingos are also filter feeders, so their beaks are specially adapted to separate mud and silt from the food they eat. Nails and hair grow faster in warm weather. When it gets hotter, blood circulation speeds up. Increased blood flow means more blood reaches the scalp and your nails, which are made of keratin, so your hair and nails grow slightly faster. We all love some champagne now and then, but dealing with the cork is always tricky and dangerous. The yeast and sugarcane in the champagne produce alcohol and carbon dioxide, which can lead the pressure in the bottle to get as high as in the tires of a double-decker bus. Pistachios shouldn't be shipped in a single container. If they are, they will self-heat and cause a fire by spontaneously combusting. Apparently, there are fake bus stops outside many nursing homes in Germany to prevent confused senior citizens from wandering off. The Australian funnel web spider is one of the most dangerous species in the world, and a single bite can kill you. Its fangs are so strong, they can bite through shoes. According to linguists, there are around 6,800 languages spoken today. Some of them are developing every day, while some languages die. 200 of them have less than 10 speakers. How many rubber bands do you have around the house? In 2008, Joe Wall from America used around 700,000 rubber bands to make Megaton, the largest rubber band ball in the world. It weighs 4,097 kilograms. It is now owned by the Ripley's Believe It or Not Museum in Orlando. Centuries ago, due to the high consumption of sugar and really bad teeth whitening solutions, rich people were in need of new teeth. Until 1800, dentures were made from the teeth of dead soldiers. After being boiled and shaped, the teeth would be sold as a set to whomever could afford a pair. Do you know what the line between the two numbers in a fraction is called? Impress your math class next time by revealing that it's called the vinculum. Before there were clocks, there were candle clocks that burned a set amount of hours. If you wanted a reminder or alarm, you pushed a nail at the desired length in the candle, and when it melted to that point, the nail would fall and clank on the metal holder, alerting you. Do you know of any more interesting facts that are rather useless? Let me know in the comment section down below. Thanks for watching.